Hello everyone, it's Cassie and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my May and June wrap up. There's also a book that I started in April but didn't finish. So last wrap up that I did, it was like a recent reads one. I said that I was going to be back to doing them every month because that one was 2 months as well. But then in May I only read 2 books and a novella, so it didn't really seem worth doing a video for, so I'm gonna put them together and hopefully it's not too long. Hopefully for July it'll be its own video. I'll read enough that it'll be worth making its own video. Nothing much else to say, so let's just get into it. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Both those mean the absolute world to me. My Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and Amazon wishlist are linked in the description box below if you want to connect with me on any of those. Let's just get into this May and June wrap up. So as I mentioned, there was a book that I started in April that I didn't finish in time before I wanted to film my, I think it was March-April reads, my recent reads video, and that was Finlay Donovan is Killing It. I feel like I read this forever ago, and that's why I don't like doing these bi-monthly, because I kind of forget everything that I said about them or thought about books. So Finlay Donovan is Killing It is about Finlay Donovan, who is this mom who is an author, and she's kind of going through a lot right now. She's going through a divorce and everything that comes with that territory. As I mentioned, she's an author, so early on in the book she is meeting up with her agent, I believe. They meet up at this Panera, and she is this mystery, I think she's like mystery romance type of author, but since there's mystery, there's murder. And so their conversation to people that don't know what they're talking about sounds like she's a murderer. So she's having this conversation with her agent, and someone believes that she is a contract killer, so they leave her a name and money, and not money, like amount of money, and says, kill this man for me and you'll get this amount of money. She's against it at first, but things just ensue and it's chaotic, and it's more of a cozy mystery. If you don't want like any type of anything that like seems unrealistic, or I want to say funny, I don't think I laughed out loud to any part in this, but it was funny, you know what I mean? Like, still funny, but it just wasn't like, I didn't laugh out loud hilarious, but I liked it. I gave this 5-star. Maybe it was like 4.5, but I gave it a 5-star. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really fun. Everyone says there's a big cliffhanger at the end. There kind of is, but it wasn't that big that I needed to run out and read the next book as soon as I finish this one. I still haven't bought the next book yet, but I'm definitely gonna continue the series, and hopefully I'll read the second one before the end of the year, because the third one comes out either at the end of this year or the beginning of it next year. I can't fully remember, but I will definitely be continuing with this story. It deserves the hype, I think. Then I read a book. Well, I started a different book, but the next book I finished was, I forgot what it's called, The Risk, which is the first book in the Mind F series by Stabby. My Kindle Unlimited, I decided to cancel it just to save money for the moment, but I'm gonna get it again eventually. But I decided to cancel it, and I had a few days left, so I decided to just pick this up and start this series because I had heard a lot about it, and it seemed at the moment that like a lot of people were reading it. So I read the first one. I quite enjoyed it. This one is about a female serial killer. She's got her reasons for why she's doing these killings. They're explored a little bit in the first one, but not as in depth as I believe they're going to in the future ones. And she meets this FBI agent and they kind of fall in love. It's kind of insta-lovey, but they're also very short books. This one was like 130 pages. You kind of expect it. He is in the FBI, and he is in the department that looks at serial killers and like serial crimes. So he is looking for her, but obviously he doesn't know that it's her. It's really fun. I really liked it, and I'm definitely gonna continue this series once I get Kindle Unlimited again. I think people say it gets darker as you go. It wasn't too bad, in this one. It's more fade to black, but I think it is less of that as the series goes on. So I gave this one a 4 stars. It was good. I mean, it's a novella. It doesn't have a lot to it, so there wasn't a lot to say was wrong with it. That book and the next 2 books, you can find my more in-depth thoughts in my thriller reading blog, which I will make sure to leave linked up above and down below. I don't know what side it's on, but I will link that there so you can see my thoughts as I was reading these ones. The next book I finished was The Girls Are All So Nice Here by Lori Elizabeth Flynn. This was one that I really wanted to get to really since I bought it, but especially since after I read In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, which was my favorite book of 2021, and this is very similar vibes, idea type of thing, so I knew I just wanted to pick this one up ASAP. It took me a while, but I finally got it. So this one follows Ambrosia. She is invited to her college reunion for like 10 years or something, but she does not want to go because something happened when she was there that she does not want to face. These things that she doesn't want to face, it happened with her best friend. I forget what her actual name is. Sloane Sully Sullivan. They call her Sully. They haven't talked to each other in a long time, but she does not want to face her. She does not want to face anything, but she cannot stop thinking about it. She keeps getting emails about it, about coming. So then she ends up going to this reunion, and her and Sully keep getting messages from someone basically saying they know what they did and they want to get revenge. So it kind of just unravels from there. So again, very similar to In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. Also very similar to that in the way that the characters aren't incredibly likable, like this 2 main girls especially, which is similar to In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. That main character not particularly likable, which can be an issue for some people, but I don't mind it because it's not like the author's trying to make them likable, so in my opinion. But I ended up giving this a 4 stars. I really enjoyed it and it was super good. It wasn't as good as In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, but so I would recommend it if you like that type of book. Then the next book I read, and the last book that I read in that thriller vlog, is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. So if you watch anyone that reads thrillers or anything, I've heard anything about this, not many people like it. I can get why. I didn't hate this. I ended up giving it a 3 star. Well, let me just tell you what it's about. So we're following, I forgot what her name is, Jess. She needs a fresh start. There's like this something that happened, so she needs to leave London. So she decides she's gonna go stay with her brother who lives in the Paris apartment. But when she gets there, he's not there. She can't get a hold of him. He knows she was coming, so she's kind of like, why would he not be here? That's kind of sus. She starts looking for him, and there's all these mysterious people in the apartment building with him. It doesn't seem like they're the greatest people or the most helpful in finding Ben, and which is her brother. I don't know if I said his name. Let me just say first off, I have not read Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. I believe that's the one people compare this to. People say that this is trying to be that, or like, you know, that kind of stuff. I haven't read that, so I don't know the comparison too much, so take that as you will. But like I said, I gave this 3 stars. I didn't love it, obviously, but it was fine. It was like average. There is a big chunk that like nothing really happens. She doesn't seem to be trying very hard to find her brother, really just doing anything, quite honestly. So that is kind of boring, but when she is doing things, I enjoyed it. We also get multiple POVs, and I think maybe we should have done one less or something, just because I feel like it kind of gave parts of it away. I didn't guess the ending because it just seemed a little unrealistic, and I'm fine with an unrealistic ending. I can work with that, but this one was just like too much. There was like 2 parts of the unrealisticness, so that's where I'm like, I don't know about that. So, yeah, it was a 3 star. And those 3 books, other than Finlay Donovan, are the only 3 books that I read in May. So that's why I didn't want to do a wrap up just for May, so now let's move on to June. So for June, I did a little better with reading. I mean, they're kind of smaller books, but I'm proud of myself. So I did kind of take part in whatever-a-thon. I wasn't going super hard, but I just decided to add things when I could. I ended up getting one bingo. I think I could have had a couple. I didn't participate in the 48-hour readathon, which blocked some things for me, but I was a part of Team Beach Readers, and I did hit my goal of reading 4 books, which isn't a lot, but it's a lot for me lately. I started the month off with No Exit by Taylor Adams. I finally read this. I didn't think I was gonna like this. Just putting that out there, I really didn't think I was gonna like this. While it has a lot of hype, more recently people have been saying it's not that good, so I was like, am I gonna like it? And while it definitely had some parts that I didn't really like, it had parts that I really liked. So I gave it a 4-star. I even bought this version of the book which is the movie cover, I believe, because yeah, it has like the Hulu thing. I even bought this one because I didn't think I was gonna like it. Then I was just gonna unhaul it. So but I did like it, so I'm gonna keep it. So this one we follow Darby, and that's her name, right? Yeah. She gets stuck in the snowstorm. She's going home because her mom has cancer and it is not looking good at all. So she's trying to get home fast, but she gets stuck in the snowstorm. So she goes to this rest stop, and she goes in, she meets some people that are there. She goes back out and she to get some cell reception, and she sees a hand on the window of the back of this van, and she sees that a child is in the back of this car. But she is now on a mission to figure out whose van this is and help this kidnapped child, what she believes is kidnapped child. It all just unravels from there, and there's no cell reception. The plows aren't gonna get there for like 8 hours or 10 hours or something. She's got to be strategic about how she does this. I liked a decent amount of these twists, but I will just say, like I mentioned, I'm okay with unrealistic things happening or somewhat convenient things happening, but there was so many in this book. It was insane. I was like halfway, and I'm like, how is there still half a book? Like, what's gonna be the twist? There's gotta be something crazy. But there was twists, but they were just a little too out there for me. Everyone in this book got like 30 lives. Like, simply put, that's what it really is. So that was something that I didn't overly like about it, and that's what took the star off for me. But I can understand why people really like this, and I can understand for that reason why people didn't really like it. Also, there were slurs in here for absolutely no free reason. No reason at all, so that just needed to like not be in here. It really didn't add anything to the story, so it's weird to me that not a lot of people talk about that. But other than those things, I enjoyed this, and there were some times that it like quite freaked me out, actually. I think I'm becoming more of a baby with thrillers and stuff. I'm getting scared more, but or the writing's just getting better, I don't know. Then I moved on to a new series and a new vlog, and I started reading the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. So obviously there's only 2 books here. I only read the first 2 books in June. I am currently reading the 3rd one. I made a vlog for reading these and watching the new Prime TV series. That vlog will be out either my next video or the video after that. It'll be out quite soon, I believe. Follows Belly as she goes to Cousins Beach, where she has gone for every summer of her life. Her mom's best friend has a beach house there, and so Belly, her mom, her brother, and her mom's best friend Susanna, and her sons Conrad and Jeremiah all go out there and spend the summer there every year. So Belly's always had a crush on Conrad, and nothing's changed. I mean, the Summer I Turned Pretty, this is like when she becomes more confident, and she is kind of finding herself more this summer. There also is a different, this is supposed to be like a love triangle with the two brothers, Conrad and Jeremiah, but there's also another boy that she meets in here that she has a romance with. So the love triangle isn't super present for me in this one. It's there, but it's not a lot. I feel like it's less than people make it out to be, you know? But super cute. I really liked this. I thought it was adorable. The only things I didn't really like about it is Belly is quite immature. It's kind of annoying. Also, keep in mind this was written, I think, like 2013 or something. 2010. So it shows sometimes. There's a lot that happens in this book and they're really short. There's friendship, relationships, family dynamics, and like sad stuff. So if you liked the show, I know a lot of people are just watching the show. If you like the show, I would definitely check out the books. I thought they were super good. From at least the first two books, there's like quite a few differences in the show, but I really liked it. I really liked it. I'm glad I finally picked it up. So I can't really overly tell you what the second one is about, but I picked it up right after the first one because I loved the world. It's not like world, but I loved the story and I thought it was super cute and I wanted just to keep on reading in the world. So this one is the next summer following some things that happened in the first book that I can't tell you about, but this one is a little more boring for me. I forgot to say, this one I give 4 stars. This one I give like anywhere from 3 to 4, probably a 3.5. I had it as a 4 on Goodreads at first, put 3.5 in my little notes, but I changed it to a 3 because it just doesn't feel like I should put them on the same rating, even though I put this as a 3.5. There's just a big chunk in the middle where like not much overly happens for me, so it's a little boring. Not boring, but like not as fun. The first one, it seems like something's happening all the time. I also forgot to say there's like different timelines a little bit. It'll just be like age 12 or age 9. Tell a little story from then in there, which there isn't in this one. So I think that also helped that one seem like something's happening all the time, you know? The beginning was like good and the ending was really good. There was just some in the middle that I didn't particularly enjoy, but I know some people say this is their favorite book in the trilogy, so far the two, I like the first one better, but we'll see what happens if the third one takes the #1 spot. And then the last one that I read in June is Her Every Fear by Peter Swanson. Now, this is another reason that I think I am getting a little bit more of a baby with thrillers. This one low-key, high-key scared me. This follows Kate, who has previously gone through some trauma, but her cousin that she's never met, Corbin, has decided or has asked if they could switch apartments because he's going to London to work there and she lives in London, and switch apartments and go live at his place in Boston. So she decides to do that, which seems kind of out of character for her. They're only planning on being there for like 6 months. So in the apartment building she meets some of his neighbors, but pretty much as soon as she gets there she finds out, I think it's like the day after she gets there, she finds out that his neighbor, which was a female, was found murdered. So there is some suspicion towards the people she meets in the apartment building, her cousin, people that knew the dead girl, and it just unravels from there. You get perspectives from Kate, her cousin, and some more people. It was pretty creepy. To be honest, it's not much of a mystery. Probably like 40% in, you know what happened, but it's creepy. And it's more of like a suspense, I guess. I don't know what you would consider it because it's not thriller either. It's not like, but it was like scary. So, there's definitely trigger warnings for this, for certain things, and I think I might kind of stay away from those topics for a bit because they low-key scared me. One thing that was like a blessing and a curse for this book is you see in normal books where you have multiple POVs, you see one person's POV and then the next person takes over and shows the next thing. Whereas this one, they showed the same event from multiple people's POV. Sometimes that was needed, and sometimes it was so repetitive and boring that it wasn't needed. Overall, I quite enjoyed it, and I'm glad I finally read it. I've had it for over a year, I think, so I'm trying to read my books that I've had, because I don't need to be buying new books. I still buy new books, but I'm trying to keep it at a minimum. But yeah, that was the last book that I read in June. So that is everything that I read in May and June. I had a decent reading couple months. I am slowly trying to get back into reading. It's a journey, but or like pick up my reading. I never really got out of reading, but like get back to what I was reading at the beginning of the year and all of last year. So if you've read any of these books, let me know what you thought of them, or if you're interested in any of them, let me know. I would recommend most of these books, so I think that's pretty successful. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Both those would mean the absolute world to me. My Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and Amazon wishlist are linked in the description box below if you're interested in checking any of those out, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!